Welcome to USA Biz Party Live. I'm your host, Anna Scheller, and it is a privilege to have you with me. I'm hearing some feedback. Is anybody else hearing feedback? Nope. Okay, well, maybe it's just me. But I want to invite you and thank you for joining us today. Today's discussion is going to be all about ads. You're in business to help people. And while word of mouth strategy sounds like a great way to go, it seems like you could have manageable business that way. If you're in business just to take care of a few people, that would be okay. But hopefully, if you're watching this video, you're in business to help a lot of people with the unique way that you do business. So I am delighted today to have joining me. We're doing a panel with a couple of very amazing people. So first, I'll introduce and bring to the stage John Ferrara. How do I say that? Did I say that right? You are muted. Let's see.
So yes, you're very close. If you could say Ferrari, you could say Ferrara.
Okay, Ferrara.
Yeah.
And we also have Louise McDonald. Let me take a few minutes to introduce each of them. So John is a serial entrepreneur, which I love. I have a couple businesses myself. He's a noted speaker about social sales and marketing. He is also the CEO of Nimble. Nimble, yes. And as I was reading about Nimble, I thought, why have I not used Nimble? It's like a great platform, a simple CRM for Office 365 and the G Suite. He is also the co-founder, let me slow down just a second here, co-founder of Goldmine Software. And maybe you can explain a little bit more about that. And one of the early pioneers of CRMs, which are customer relationship management systems for small to medium businesses. I love that you've been recognized by Forbes as one of the top 10 social CEOs, one of the top 10 sales people in the world, and top 100 marketing influencers. John, thank you for joining us today.
Anna, it's a pleasure to be here with you today. I think that we grow by helping other people grow. I also think that's our purpose on this planet, is to grow by helping other people grow. And any opportunity that I can to participate in a conversation to help other people achieve their dreams and grow better, smarter, faster is a great day.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us. And as you can see, we have Louise McDonald all the way from Ireland. Thank you for joining us, Louise.
My pleasure.
Great. She has been working in digital marketing since 2009, which not very long ago, didn't seem very long ago, but that's quite a while now. And she has trained and coached over 20,000 people on how to use social media as a marketing tool. She's the author of Facebook Marketing, The Essential Guide, the best-selling 2021 Social Media Planner and Guide, and you've just put out a new one for 2022. Is that right, Louise?
Yep, so we launched that at the beginning of the year. Yeah, and I'm delighted to say it's another bestseller on Amazon.
Awesome. And Louise and I think we met when I was in Ireland and have since been adopted. We were talking about all our Irish roots, and John Ferrara has Irish roots. I just have Irish roots because I've got great Irish friends who like me. So again, the focus of today is really to help us to see the value of ads in our businesses. So often we want to just do what is least expensive. But one of the things that happens is if we just stay content with the customer base that we have, sometimes that works well, but a lot of times we need to be having a bigger reach, and advertising in its many forms can be it's one of the best ways to do that. And so one of the things I'd like to ask our panelists is, what are some of the benefits of advertising? So who'd like to go first?
Louise, please go first.
Thank you. Thank you, John. You're such a gentleman. So the benefits of advertising, well, I tell this story. I have an academy. I have an online social media academy where I train business owners how to use social media. And one day, one of my members came to me and I was saying, how are you getting on? And he said, I'm actually really disappointed. I ran a campaign. I did everything that you told me, and I didn't get the results that I anticipated. I didn't get any sales. So I said, okay, let me have a look at what you did. So I looked at the way that he structured his ad. I looked at the way that he designed his ad. I looked at everything, his targeting, everything. And it was all really good. The problem was he spent far too little. His budget was far too small. So in fact, he only reached, I think, about 5,000 people because he spent, I think, $2 a day for 5 days, something like that. So he spent practically nothing. And so I explained to him that if an average ad, so an average ad across the board has a click-through rate of 2%, which would not be unheard of. Of course, you can have it higher, but you can have it lower too. So take an average click-through rate of 2% on any social media post or paid ad. And then if you again have about a 2% conversion rate on your website, again, should be higher, but could be lower. So if 2% of people who see your social media posts or your ads click through to your website and 2% of those buy, in order to generate 10 sales, you have to get in front of 25,000 people. And so when I explained the numbers to him, he saw immediately what he was doing wrong. So Anna is so right. I mean, if we want to generate sales for our business, we need to reach lots and lots of people. We need to be very clear on our message, because if we're anyway confused about our messaging, then we won't be able to articulate it to these potential customers quickly. And then that means that they have to see us multiple times to maybe ever understand what we're trying to sell to them. So there are 3 benefits from running a paid ad. Okay, I always say 3 benefits. I hold up 4 fingers, not very good. So the first benefit are the direct sales. So if you're running an ad, people are going to see what you're promoting and you're going to get the direct sales from it. The second benefit from running a paid ad are the indirect sales. So these are the people who see what you're advertising. Maybe they don't click through on your ad. Maybe they screenshot what you're promoting and they come back to you at a later stage. Or maybe you're promoting one product or service and then they see you sell something else, so they buy something else for you. And you always see that when you're running paid advertising. You always get a lift in your business for all your products and services. And the third benefit from paid advertising are the future sales. So the people who have seen your ad, screenshotted it, saved it for later, have followed you, are keeping an eye on you, because they don't just need what you're selling just right now, but they will need it, and they know they're going to need it at some stage in the future. So that would be what I would say to answer your first question, Anna. So I want to hand over to John. I don't want to take all the broadcasting time.
John, you're next.
You bet. So I think that before you ever consider advertising, you really need to take a look at your 3 Ps of your business, your product, pricing, and positioning. Specifically, you have to understand your typical customer journey. And there's a great PDF that you can find, Google McKinsey customer journey. And in it, you'll understand the new modern digital buyer journey. In the old days, we used to yell at our customers about how great our products and services are, expect them to line up like lemmings in front of our salespeople who could bag and tag them and get the order. And those days are gone. Today, customers have done most of the homework before they ever even consider your product. And you need to participate in that journey by not yelling at them about how great your products and services are, but by teaching them how they can be great. I think that people don't buy great products, they buy better versions of themselves. So you should be putting your customers at the center of your storytelling and show them how they can be great. And the way that you do that is you establish yourself as a trusted advisor in and around the products and services that you're selling. And you do that by finding the places where your customers are having conversations. So depending on what you're selling, we sell a SaaS business solution that helps people become better, smarter, faster at social sales and marketing. And so we go find where business people, the personas we're selling to, have conversations to learn and grow and select products. And we give our knowledge away. We teach people how they can be great. I say, if you teach people to fish, they'll figure out you sell fishing poles. So we're talking about advertising, the benefit of advertising. And I believe that advertising is one of the parts of the mix of marketing that you could use to build your brand and generate traffic. But I have to tell you something. I built a business out of an apartment in Los Angeles on $5,000, no venture capital, no bank loans, grew it to $125 million a year in revenue, sold it for cash, and retired when I was 40. How did I do that? I did it by identifying the trusted advisor of my prospect, by building a pay it forward relationship with them and turning them into my storytellers. What am I saying? I'm saying that advertising has its place, but if you're not doing the foundational things that you need to do in order to build your brand and stand out from the crowd, then advertising isn't going to work as effectively. So back in those days, as well as in the gold mine days, I first built my foundation of revenue by accessing my customer, by identifying the trusted advisor. That was the person that sold them a technology network, the Novell reseller. And I got them to use it and then started to resell it to them. And then they said, we need more leads. And I didn't know how to advertise and I didn't have money to advertise. So I went to the publications where my customers become better, smarter, faster, business and technology publications. And I said to the writers, how can I help you write more stories? They said, tell us stories about how people are using technology to grow. And so I started to do that. And then I built relationships with the other vendors in my category, Microsoft and others. And then my customers started getting recommendations from the resellers, from the publications, from the other products they buy. And then I started to advertise. I advertised in the airline magazines, in the radios, but it was all supplemental to the entire marketing mix. And so I think, and I know small businesses because my wife is a small business owner. She does landscape design. And I know the struggle that you have to build your brand and get leads. And she gets most of her leads through what I call earned media. It isn't necessarily referrals, but she's established her brand in places like Dwell and Nextdoor. And these are things in the States that we use for, that people use to find vendors and selections. But there are places where your prospects and their influencers get better, smarter, faster on conversations. Go and establish identities there and then supplement it with advertising for a better lift.
Yeah, I love both of what both of you have said. So there are I like how you're talking about the excuse me. I love how you're talking about the foundation that you have to have. It's advertising isn't the only strategy to develop leads. It has to be part of an entire marketing strategy that you're working on. And I love the trusted advisor and getting into that trusted advisor position with your clients. And then of course, we have to recognize, and as you were talking about the three benefits, Louise, of direct sales and indirect sales and future sales, you know, the other thing is we have to get out where our customers are even going to see us and even know that we exist. So advertising has that benefit because it gives people exposure. The last statistic I read was that it's about 15 to 20 exposures to your business before people will even consider purchasing from you. Those exposures can come through ads, but also through things like what you're talking about, John, you know, getting into those trusted advisors to your customer base and seeking them out and seeing how you can benefit them. Journalists are always looking for people to help them. And there's a publication for just about any industry around. So
And,
thank you.
and publicists are always looking for new content. So if you can co-storytell with the storytellers for your constituency, you can not only build your brand, your company brand, but also pay these people forward who become storytellers for yourself, which is the way that we built the Nimble brand. And so if you think about when I started Nimble, there was people didn't use social for selling. They basically thought it was a place to hook up with their high school sweetheart or get a job. And so to build the Nimble brand, what I did was I identified the trusted advisor of my prospect. And these were the thought leaders in social sales and marketing that were creating content about how to learn social media, how to learn sales through social, how to learn marketing through social. And I started to share their content in order to inspire and educate my potential prospects about how they could be better, smarter, faster at social sales and marketing, which generated traffic to my brand, to my company website, as well as relationships with those thought leaders who then I reeled in for one-to-one conversations and turned them into evangelists for our brand and myself. And we're generating between 60 and 100,000 uniques per month with zero advertising dollars, converting at between roughly 5% visitor trial and 10% trial paid without any salespeople. So the ideas that I'm sharing about earned media is much different than referrals. But to do that, you have to figure out where your constituency has conversations and begin to establish your brand for your personal self as well as your company brand in those places by giving your knowledge away on a daily basis. And if you don't know how to create content, then curate it and share other people's content.
And I suppose social media gives, like for very small businesses, social media gives people a platform where they can actually broadcast and become thought leaders and become that trusted party for their potential customers.
Yeah.
So what I say to people is not just to see, and many small businesses would see social media as a sales channel only. And so what I say is that you got to see it as a marketing channel. So yes, it's really important to create content which is going to impress your ideal customer, which is going to help them out, which is going to help them solve a problem, because then they're more likely to connect with you and to trust you. And the more they know you and the more they trust you, the more likely that they are to do business with you. So I always say to people, think of your social media channels as like your TV station rather than just a place where you stick a poster on a wall. It's the place where you can broadcast, and the only limitation is your imagination. So again, if you can, the better you are creating content, well then the further that will go organically now. But here's the thing: if you're producing really good content, you can put some budget to that and you can pay to get it in front of people to match the profile of your ideal customer and really get their attention quickly. So I would say to businesses starting out on social media, you might be starting out with 0 followers, you may be starting out with 0 reach, but that's fine. If you can create fantastic, compelling content that catches the attention and helps your ideal customer, you can pay to get it in front of them, and you can use paid advertising to quickly grow your reach, your followers, and your customers.
Louise, what I love about that, and it really gave me an idea here, people listening to this today, they don't know how to create content, and a lot of them don't. And they need to experiment with that by beginning to look around and see what other people like themselves are sharing and how they're sharing it, what it looks like, and then to start to do that themselves. But then as they do it, they'll see which types of things get the most hits, if you will, the most bites. And then you lean into those things that are already vibrating with your constituency and amplify that through advertising, rather than just thinking, this thing's going to work and I'm just going to pay money to do it. So it's a free way to sort of test messaging and graphics to see which polls the best, and the things that start hitting, you can then start amplifying with paid. What do you think of that?
Absolutely. So in fact, you mentioned earlier on about the customer journey. So I believe that there are different types of content that you should be creating depending on what stage of the customer journey your potential customer is. Mm-hmm. So if you just identify, this is my ideal customer and I'm going to try and sell to them, that doesn't work. So we talk about the awareness part. So this is where the part in social media, we can create awareness about our brand, about sharing content where we're neither selling or we're neither giving advice, we're just simply connecting at a human level. And so there are many different examples of that. So you can connect with somebody by showing them you're the same as me. I do the same things you are. I can resonate you at a human level. I can share with you if I'm a holistic therapist, I can share with you how I live the life of a holistic therapist. I can show you that I live a true life. Or if whatever I am, you just have to find that awareness content that is going to help you inspire and connect at a human level. And then further into the customer journey, like consideration content, this is where you start positioning yourself as an expert. So that you know the pain points of your ideal customer, that you know how life is showing up for them day in, day out, and that you can, and the key here is to produce short pieces of content, less than a minute if it's video, or a nice post with powerful image and a good, strong description. And so that they go, oh gosh, this person understands me. They know me. They're nodding their heads when they're reading the content. Now, this content, especially if you're selling services, is really, really powerful. And this is the content where I'd be having a little bit of budget to make sure you get it out there. The next type of content, of course, is your sales content. So again, this is where you're running remarketing, retargeting campaigns. You're targeting people who've been on your website, who've spent time watching your videos, who've interacted with you on Instagram and on Facebook with your posts or your ads. And you can retarget them with like lead form ads or with a lead magnet, or there's many different ways that you can target them to get them to take an action. And then we have our advocate content. So this is our content which is produced by our most loyal customers. And so I usually give my customers a formula for the advocate content. It's like, what was the greatest benefit for you, the customer, and what was the time frame, and how do you feel now? So rather than if somebody's doing a testimonial for me, rather than saying, oh, Louise is lovely and she's very nice and she's very nice to deal with and she answers all my questions, it's much more powerful for me if I can make them the hero. And I can say something like, I generated 25% increase in sales on my website in less than a month of working with Louise. So now they're the hero, and now it's a really powerful testimonial that and advocate content that I can share on my socials. So there's like the 4 different categories of content. And so when I'm saying to people when they're planning their social media, the first thing they need to do is set their goals. So they need to be very clear on what they want to achieve. What products or sales, what are they selling and how much they want to sell, and who are they targeting? Then they need to profile their customers at a very deep level, not just, oh, they're this age and they live here, but really, what are their pain points? What does life look like for them? What is motivating them right now? And then after that, you plan your content. So your awareness content, your consideration content, your sales content, your advocate content to help you achieve your goals, which you set out at the very beginning. And then you think, okay, now where can I amplify my reach with paid ads based on the content that I have created? And then after that, you continue to evaluate, because everything should be measured so you know exactly what worked, what didn't work, and what you need to do more of in the future.
Laurie, I think we're exactly saying the same thing. Number one is I love having your customers tell your story for you, because it's more powerful when other people talk about you than when you talk about you. And then second, in the beginning, you talked about people connecting on the areas of commonality. I call it the 5 F's of life: family, friend, food, fun, and fellowship. In the old days, we did that by going to somebody's office, by looking at their walls, look at the books they read, the degree of the school they went to, in order for us to share the commonalities, to earn the intimacy and trust, to get them to open up to us about their business issues, which as a professional, we can then solve. And I think that a lot of mistakes business owners make is they just spew out how great their product is, how great their services are, how great they are, as opposed to combining storytelling about their expertise in the category, giving your knowledge away, other customer success, blended with a little bit of the humanity. You need to roll up your sleeves and open up your heart to let people see the human that you are. Because in the end, we all connect that way to people. And if you're connected to somebody, you could ride out the bumps of delivery, pricing, or whatever else is happening in the market. And then lastly, I love the fact that you're talking about doing the persona evaluation and then targeting stories to those personas and their pain points. But more importantly, doing the basics, the earned media stuff, and then amplifying that stuff with advertising. Because if you think that just advertising alone is going to build your business, you're wrong. You need to understand your personas. You need to understand where they have conversations to get better, smarter, faster. You need to start with giving your knowledge away, because you forgot more about your industry than your customers will ever know in their lives. If you can't create content, curate it from other experts, because it's okay either way you give the knowledge away. And then listen and engage as a human being, not to bag and tag and sell somebody, but to serve somebody, because I think that service is the new sales. And that even if it means that you recommend a competitor's product, that person will remember you and they'll drag their friends or tell their friends about you when they need something that fits what you sell.
Yeah, I have a mantra that I use, John, and it's on social media. You sell more when you don't try and sell.
Amen.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
if you show up with the big sales hat on you, you'll sell less. Whereas if you show up to inspire, to connect, to educate, that's when you'll sell. And the key is to keep showing up.
Yeah. Yeah. And how many times have you walked by a shop? I have a little street near my house that has all these shops. It's very quaint. And people sit inside their shop behind a counter. And when you open the door, the bell goes, right? And it's like the bell doesn't go off that much, right? If you want to be seen and heard in today's digital world, you need to get the F up out of your shop and get out into the social river and swim with your customers. Start giving your knowledge away on a daily basis, and not just think of prospects and customers, but their influences as well. So there's a constituency around your business. You need to think of it as a sustainable garden that you want to create by building content within your place to attract the prospects, customers, their influencers, and all the different people. At Nimble, I connect to editors, analysts, bloggers, influencers, third-party developers, investors, advisors, and you need to think of that as a village that you're connecting to in order to truly scale your business. And it starts really by building your personal brand, the company brand, and the company brand ideally is built by empowering your team members to build their brand, because that will help scale your company brand.
Absolutely. I find this very fascinating that I had a list of questions that we were going to follow, and yet the conversation itself was so much richer because, ads are not just something that we do by themselves. I think in the old days, you were talking about how sales is or advertising is such a different animal now than it has ever been.
In the old days, there was actual publications that you can go buy. There was a newsstand. There was Yellow Pages. And when I looked up a business, I actually grabbed the Yellow Pages. Are you guys old enough to remember like looking for a plumber in the Yellow Pages? Today, if I need a plumber, we use something called Nextdoor, which is a community-based thing where people can post a thing and say, does anybody know of somebody, good handyman or whatever? And so it used to be Yellow Pages. They would send the little cards in the mailbox, little flyers and things. And that stuff just doesn't work anymore. If I want to sell my house, I'm going to call the trusted advisor who knows the most about the homes in my neighborhood, because she's built a pay-it-forward relationship with me for years. And so I think that what we're doing is we're mixing old school. If you think about 100 years ago, we all lived in a small village of 100 people, and our brand was built on the promises that we make and the experience that we deliver. And then what happened is mass manufacturing happened, and people were driven to the cities, and they started manufacturing all these things. They started to have to do fuller brush salespeople to sell them all, and then they had to do madman marketing to drive people to the stores. And I think social media is bringing us back to a small village where our brand is built on our reputation that we're creating. And in many ways, it's a small village, but it's a global village that's can be leveraged by people that understand the power of your brand, your network, your storytelling, and to combine the digital methods with the paid methods, the earned media with the paid media. And I just have to say that I could listen to you, Louise, all day.
And likewise, John.
I love the way that you structure things into these bite-sized components, and then basically talk about these keywords, about the different journey, the awareness stage, and all these different components. And it really does map out to what Mackenzie is talking about. And I actually have a journey that I just recently did about buying a TV that I just like to talk about, because I do think it affects the way people think about advertising. So I had a TV that broke in my house, and that was my trigger to buy something new. So that's in the Mackenzie thing. They talk about the trigger. So I didn't immediately go to the websites of the TV manufacturers to decide, like, what am I going to buy? And in fact, I started out with a bias. I wasn't going to buy the brand that died, the Sony. So I started to look in the places where people talk about TVs, different websites where people get together and talk about products, Amazon, etc. And then once I had my selection set, I went and did more research at the different manufacturer sites. And I then made my decision, and guess what I bought? Guess what kind of TV I bought?
The same one again.
The Sony, yes. The Sony had the best combination of features, price, and even though it had died and I had a bias against it, they did a good job of creating a product and the storytelling around it that I selected it. But after the purchase, I had a post-purchase sort of cycle where I kept reviewing. Do you guys ever do that after you buy something,
yeah.
reading about it to make sure you made the right decision?
Oh yeah.
It was only after I had that post-purchase experience where I became a repeat customer and a referrer, and that's something that's a big part of the sort of the if you think about the customer journey, is people forget about people they sold to, and they're the easiest people to sell to again and to get referrals from, and that's a big part of that whole quote marketing journey. But not only did I buy 2 more Sony TVs over the past 2 years, but I tell my friends about it too. I became an advocate. And so if you want to stay top of mind with your customers, and Mae West, who is not just an American actress, but an entrepreneur, she said, out of sight is out of mind, and out of mind is out of money, honey. So what you want to do is stay top of mind with your prospects and customers. So they not only pick up the phone and they call you, but they drag their friends with them. You do that by giving your knowledge away on a daily basis. And when you connect with somebody, don't connect with them with the intent to sell them. Connect with somebody with the intent to serve them. Because like I said, service is the new sales. And so many times I accept the connection on whatever channel I am. I immediately get the bang, right? I want to sell you something.
Yeah.
And if you actually connect with somebody to learn more about them, to find ways to blow wind in their sails, then you're going to build this network of people around you that will help you achieve any dream that you have in your business.
And I always think as well about, like, just to flip this now, because it's so interesting to hear about your customer journey and how that happened with the product. I am so different to you, John. I tell you now, you're gonna find this funny. So myself and my sister were looking to buy new bikes. We were like doing a triathlon last year, and so you sound like my sister. She did all the research, and then I went to her and I said, "Which one?" just tell me which one to buy and I'll buy it.
Yes.
So but it is so true. So that is your advocate, though. There is your advocate. So somebody does all the work and then they say that one, okay, that's the one I buy.
And the thing that you need to think about that, Louise, is there are influencers at every scale, right?
Yeah.
So I have dear friends of mine like Brian Solis and Brian Kramer and Lee Odin and all these people that you might know some of these names of these marketing influencers. But you know who are my most powerful influencers? The average Joe, right?
Yep.
The average person out there. There was a person that posted a YouTube video on Nimble. He was a salesperson and he was just an everyday person. And there were literally 7,000 hits on that video where people watching it. And so, so there's different, your sister is an influencer for the bike, right? So people,
That's a good way of putting it.
businesses can't think about, oh, I need to get the Kardashians to talk about my business. No, you can get any of your customers to talk about your business. And then you amplify it, just like what you said, is you take those testimonials and you find ones that work well, and then you amplify them. And so I think that by blending a combination of intelligent persona creation to understand who is your best prospect and what are their pains, and then to start telling stories, not about how great your products and services are, but how you make those people great, putting them as the hero of the story, and then finding out where their journeys are, where they hang out, where they go better, smarter, faster, and then giving your knowledge away by building a brand, identity for yourself and your company, sharing content, and then listening and engaging, which is the most critical thing. People might do the things of the sharing the content or even advertising, but then they don't listen and take that valuable connection and make the most out of it. Louise, how many times have you seen your customers get leads and not really follow up well with them?
Oh my goodness, I have the best story, John. Another story. One of my clients, and I had been doing training with them on how to run paid ads. And she decided she was going to do a lead form ad. And she came to me afterwards and she said, Louise, I'm after doing my ad. I'm just wondering, what do you think of the results? So she said, I can't remember the figures. She said, I spent something like €200 on the ad and I've generated 20 leads. Is that good? And I'm like, well, what did you do with the leads? She said, nothing. And I said, well, you want to get on the phone really quick because they're going to go cold really, really quickly. So I said, your priority now is follow up with those people. So anyhow, she came back to me a while later and she converted 4 of them. So she actually generated, on a €200 spend, I think she generated maybe 4,500, and she was very, very happy with that. But if she hadn't done any follow-up, then the 200 would have been a total waste of money. But when it comes to advertising, when it comes to social media marketing, I have like 3 avatars of businesses, of business owners. You have the people who know they should be using social media, know that their competitors are using it successfully, but they don't know where to start or they don't know what to do. And I always say, like, those people are like the people with their heads in the sand. Yeah. And they're just kind of just ignoring it. And then you have the second avatar, and this is somebody who can be very active on social media, can be showing up regularly, can be producing a lot of content, engaging with a lot of people, but they're not generating any sales. Okay, and anytime I do like a big webinar, that's the most common. People say, yeah, that's me. And then the third avatar are people who don't want to do the content or don't want to, they just want to go straight for the advertising. And neither one of those avatars are ever going to be hugely successful, because if you don't get started, well, you're never going to get anywhere. Yeah. If you're busy creating content and pushing out content, but you're not getting any business from it, the chances are that first of all, you're not clear about what you want to achieve. You haven't profiled your customer carefully. You haven't thought about your core messages. You haven't, and you're not creating content that's resonating with them. And here's another important thing. And you haven't optimized your website and your social media channels for sales. So, because when you get somebody's attention and they go to check out who you are with the idea of doing business with you, you need to have the right information there so that they go, yes, this is the person that I want to, buy from. And then the third avatar, the people who want to skip doing all the goal setting and customer profiling and content creation, and they want to skip all this, and they don't want to do any nurturing. They just want to sell. They're never successful either. So I always say that I have a 6-step system that you see in my books and that you see in my online academy. And I also have a social media agency as well. And so in that 6 steps, number 1 is your planning. So that's your setting your goals, identifying your ideal customer, profiling them at a deep level, okay? Step 2 is social media and website optimization. So that if you get the attention of your ideal customer, that they're not just going, well, what does this person actually sell? And there are many people out there who, you go to even their social media channels and they haven't even listed their services, okay? That's step 2. Step 3 is your content creation. So your awareness, your consideration, your advocate, your sales content. Step 4 is targeting. So making sure that you understand effectively how to target people. Step 5 is paid ad, and step 6 is evaluating. And you don't evaluate at the end of an ad, you evaluate the minute it goes live to make sure if you need any tweaks that you do that. Anna, you look like you want to talk there.
Well, no, it's actually, I need to bring everything to a close. And so what I'd like to do is take 1 minute to, you guys have given so much good information, because advertising is not a one and done thing. Advertising it's part of an overall strategy. It needs to be customer centric. And that's the one thing that has really gone across the top of this whole discussion, is you really need to be listening to your customer. You need to be crafting messages to find out where they're at, what they're looking for, how you can help them. Of course, I loved your idea, John, of making people the hero of the story. But can you give just a 1 minute, what is your best advice to anybody? Let's start with you, John.
Well, first off, I just want to say, can you go back to the picture before?
Okay, here we go.
Okay. This small businesses, listen to Louise, because I have a lot of experience with sales and marketing and social, and she has crafted a process around this. So I would go to sellonsocial.media and sign up for her classes, buy her book, and listen to what she says, because she's the boss. Okay? All right,
Sounds
now
good.
you give me back the screen, and I'll tell you my close.
Okay.
So this whole purpose of getting yourself seen by your prospects and your customers and their influencers as well is to create opportunity for conversations where you might connect with other human beings and help them grow. If you do what we tell you to do, you're literally going to have tens of thousands of connections. How do you manage them? That's where I come in. I actually invented contact management and CRM before Salesforce or Outlook existed with a company called Goldmine. And I reimagined it with a company called Nimble because I believe relationships are the heart of your life success. And that today, manage them in spreadsheets or Google or Microsoft 365 or LinkedIn or Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or Pinterest or all those places, your accounting system, your marketing system, they don't work. Because you need a centralized relationship platform that you and the team can use to manage the relationships going to help you achieve your goals in life. And if you go to nimble.com and sign up for your 2-week free trial and you like what you see, you get 40% off by using the code John40 as a subscriber. Whatever you do, you need a personal CRM. You need a company relationship manager, not just a CRM for your sales and marketing leads and for your salespeople to pound those leads. You need to think of relationships as more than prospects and customers, and you need to do something real with the connections that you're creating, and just creating connections for themselves isn't going to work.
Awesome. Thank you. So go to nimble.com,
Yes.
sign up for the free 2 weeks.
Yes.
And then to get 40% off, it's John, Jon 40, right?
Jon40. And for you, Anna and Louise, I'm going to gift you your own free Nimble accounts. And just go sign up and then just email me, john@nimble.com, the email that you used. And I'm happy to do a personal one-on-one onboarding with each of you to facilitate your growth. And even if you happen to be using something else like HubSpot or whatever CRM you're using, Nimble can work in conjunction with that, because most CRMs aren't really good relationship manager. They're more lead processors. And we'll talk more about that later. But and also, I just want to thank you both for the opportunity to connect with you both. I love your energy and your knowledge.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. You're very generous.
Louise.
So I would say if you're a small business and you're watching this and you're stuck, so many small businesses are nearly stuck, they just don't know where to start. I would say what you need to do is think about my 6-step system. Start by planning is just going to save you so much time and energy, and it's going to help you be clear, and it's going to help you be more efficient. So start with your planning, your customer profiling, then start thinking about your content, then your paid ads, then your evaluation. On my Sell on Social.media, I have an academy. It's a membership academy, and there's a 7-day free trial on my website. And within that 7 days, you have unlimited access to all the trainings within my academy. So you can go and check them out for yourselves. There's 40 training videos. They cover my 6 steps and many other training videos besides, including in TikTok and Canva and Facebook and Instagram and Reels and email marketing and whatever, lots of so many tutorials there. So you get unlimited access to that for the 7-day free trial. I do 2 live training sessions a month, and I do a live Q&A call a month. And you also get ongoing support through my private Facebook group. So if someday something happens to you, either one of my team will quickly go in and give you an answer to what you need to do. And so if you're feeling stuck and you can't get started, why not try Sell on Social.media? Lots of businesses there getting amazing successes. You'll see all the testimonials on my website, and enjoy it all for 7 days free, no commitment required.
Well, thank you. Again, lady and gentlemen, I was going to say ladies and gentlemen, but there's only 2 of you. I am so thankful that you have joined us. I really want, if you're watching or you're just catching snippets, I really want to encourage you to go check out these resources, because if you're not telling people what you're doing, how are they going to know how you can help them? You actually have an obligation to the people who are waiting to hear from you, so that you can make their lives better. And that's what all of this is about. Again, thank you, Louise. Thank you, John. It's a pleasure having you. And If you are watching this video, what I'd really love to encourage you to do is like the video for us. Please share it on social media and join us every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our weekly chat on USA Biz Party. It's a pleasure to have you. Thanks for joining.
Thank